Nassau County Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder is trying to silence me from exposing his corruption. Why isn't County Executive Bruce Blakeman doing anything about it? Hey, what's up, guys? Long Island Audit here, back again with another video. Coming to you live. We have a lot to talk about today, so let's get right into it. So stay tuned to later in the video where I'll be going over the supporting depositions for my original arrest charge in Nassau County. I have received those as part of discovery, so stay tuned to the end for that. First, I want to be clear about what exactly is going on here, because it's been going on through multiple videos now. So I just want to have a clear and concise way of telling each and every one of you what is going on in Nassau County, New York. So it all started on August 28th of this year, where I went inside the Department of Health and Human Services in Nassau County to conduct a First Amendment audit. I was there to peacefully exercise my rights, as I always say in each one of my videos. I was also there to investigate the government. I have received multiple complaints that people weren't getting the services that they need and they were being treated horribly. On top of that, I was there to file a FOIL request. When I went there, they told me I couldn't film because of some arbitrary sign that wasn't backed by any official policy, to my knowledge. So what happened was we went in a back and forth with law enforcement and I, and the building closed. So nothing was resolved that day. I went back the next day, and when I went back the next day, that video you haven't seen yet because they had seized my camera as evidence and they will not give it back to me. So I went there recording yet again, spoke with the officer. An attorney for the Department of Social Services, David Carl, handed me a 2-page memo explaining why I couldn't record there. I didn't have a chance to read it. He gave me the memo. I tried to read it to understand why I wasn't licensed or privileged to be there. Why does a sign override our constitutional rights? But before I can do that, Officer Kenneth Keller, that you've seen in the original video and the subsequent follow-up, he said, "Do I have official business here?" I said, "Yeah, I have constitutionally protected business." I was about to tell him about my FOIL request as well as me asking questions of my government, and he immediately said, "Put your hands behind your back." I told him I'll leave under threat of arrest, but before I could even get that out, he said, "Nope, too late, you're under arrest." They wanted to arrest me because they did not want me asking questions of the Department of Social Services. I was arrested, released about 6 hours later on a desk appearance ticket. When I was arraigned, the district attorney's office and the district attorney of Nassau County is Ann Donnelly. She's an elected official. She was just recently elected, I believe, in 2021. Her office submitted to the court during an arraignment 8 stay-away orders of protection for 2 law enforcement officers and 6 government employees. 8 stay-away protective orders. My lawyer did an amazing job arguing that these orders would be unconstitutional. There was no legal basis. There was no basis whatsoever. No one was saying that I threatened or raised my voice or used any foul language, anything. No one was saying any of that. The only reason why the judge said, "I'm going to issue the order of protections, the stay-away order protections. You cannot go near their business, their home, anything," all because apparently, there was no evidence of this, but apparently someone on the internet posted their public home addresses. Not me. I have never seen it. They didn't even have evidence of it. Don't you think if that was the case, they would have had a screenshot of it? But they didn't bring any of that to court. The judge just took their word for it that some random person in the world posted public address information. And because of that reason alone, 8 stay-away order protections were issued by this judge, Judge Norman Samet, the arraignment judge. Now, that's clearly unconstitutional. It's clearly a violation of my constitutional rights. It's trying to silence me and keep me away from the government, even though I am no threat to the government other than exposing tyranny and corruption and promoting transparency. That's the only threat that I serve to the government, and that's a legal threat of just promoting transparency. I mean, I have never once had any issues, been charged with any violent crimes against the government. So I don't understand the legal basis of it. That's why I was very disappointed in Judge Norman Samet's decision. So now I have 8 stay-away orders against me at this point after the arraignment. I cannot go to police departments. I'm basically banned from Nassau County because my lawyer asked, okay, if you're going to grant these orders, can you at least allow for incidental contact? For example, if by accident I ran into any of these people through the course of a day conducting lawful business, the judge did not go for that whatsoever. So even if I say that because it's so important, because even if I go and the police department pulls me over or comes to my house and brings me back to the third precinct or brings me back to the department and I'm next to these government officials, I could, and based on what I've seen so far, will be charged with a violation of the order of protection through the court. So it's kind of like they're trying to set me up in that way as well. So fast forward, I have a rental property on Long Island. Nassau County detectives, on the orders of Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder, crossed county lines. They obtained a warrant for my arrest. When I went back to the Department of Social Services to file my FOIL request and to ask my questions that I needed to for my story, I was not overtly recording. No one had any issues with me. I asked my questions. I conducted my business. I was there. No one had any problems with me being there, and I left. That video is up on my channel. They got a warrant signed by a judge through the district attorney's office, Patrick Ryder did, for criminal trespass in the third degree. So now that warrant, they took that warrant and they crossed county lines. I am told they never even let Suffolk County Police Department know that they were looking for me. They unlawfully stopped my tenant and made him identify himself. Let's be clear, Nassau County has no jurisdiction in Suffolk County to be pulling people over for traffic offenses, even though he tells me he did not commit any traffic offense. It doesn't matter. They can't just pull random people over and identify them. That's Gestapo behavior, ladies and gentlemen. So they pull him over, violate his rights. They said, oh, you're not the person we're looking for. They find out where I live and they come up on me like gangsters from a movie, like the mafia, like thugs that they are. I'm driving down my block, and this is exactly what happens. A Honda Civic, a dark colored Honda Civic, pulls right in front of me, running me off the road. I had to go off road to get around him. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know they're law enforcement. There was no lights, no sirens, nothing. Just a Honda Civic, an older Honda Civic, pulling right in front of my car. I felt like I was in a third world country about to get, carjacked or something. So instinctually, I went around the Civic, off the road, went into my house, and this is the video here. I'll show it to each and every one of you right now. This is what happened. You tell me if this is policing, because I've talked to many police officers regarding this video. This is not policing. So you see me there. I'm getting out of my car. You see right here the black Honda Civic. I go inside because at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea who this person is. I have two little children in my home. I have and I have two nephews and I have a nephew and a niece that live with me. I have 4 children under the age of 6 in my home. I don't know what this man is doing. He just tried to run me off the road. No lights, nothing. I have no idea who this is. Let me stop it right here. He runs after me. Do you see this man here? Do you see any badge on him? No. He's not presenting himself as a law enforcement officer whatsoever. No lights, nothing. He realizes I went inside the house and he stops. He sees my security camera and look what this criminal does. He doesn't pull out his badge. He puts up a baklava. He puts up a mask covering his face once he sees my security camera. Does that sound like law enforcement to you, ladies and gentlemen? That they cover their face in a baklava because they see a security camera? What does he have to hide? Why didn't he take out his badge? Look at him. And he's covering his face as he goes back into the Honda Civic. And then he pulls out to the street. And let me show you the other video here. Now, his partner, I guess, I don't know, again, I have no idea that at this point that these two men are law enforcement. You see they have masks on, both of them. Look at that. They said he ran inside the house. Who are these people? Who are these people? Now you can kind of see shiny badge or whatever, but they go back in, and this is what I'm talking about. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. They didn't even let Suffolk PD know. An hour later, after letting Suffolk County PD know, according to my sources, an hour later, they let Suffolk PD know we're in the area. We're looking for Sean Paul Reyes on a low-level misdemeanor warrant, ladies and gentlemen, a low-level Class B criminal trespass in the 3rd degree. And we're going to stay tuned to the end of this video. We're going to go over all the supporting depositions and the actual statute to see if this applies. Do those look like cops or they look like thugs? Look like gang members, mafia members, whatever you want to call them, cartel members, whatever. This is not the United States of America where why wouldn't he just identify himself as a police officer? Wouldn't that make sense? Wouldn't he say police? Wouldn't he put on lights in this unmarked vehicle here? Why didn't he do that? I can only think of one reason, that he wasn't there in a police capacity at that point. And then they see that I have, look at them, masks up. For what? What do you have to hide if you're law enforcement? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. This is scary business what's going on here. This is, I feel like I'm in a movie because I'm uncovering some serious corruption. So the reason that Commissioner Patrick Ryder, hates me and wants to hurt me and wants to lock me away and silence me is because I'm exposing, through various sources in and outside of the department, his tyranny and corruption. I'm making an entire video that will come out on Thursday that will explain from 1990, when the commissioner of the police department in Nassau County was arrested for beating a man while he was handcuffed. That's a true story. You might not find it in Google anywhere, but I found it in a 1990 New York Times article. My source gave it to me. He was arrested. How did that just get scrubbed from the internet? How does no news agency like News 12 talk about that when he was appointed as commissioner? He went from detective sergeant, ladies and gentlemen, which is one of the lowest ranks in the Nassau County Police Department, all the way to acting deputy commissioner, acting commissioner, and commissioner, passing at least 6 different ranks. How did he do that? Because when he was detective sergeant, he was in charge of the asset forfeiture fund. And I'm being told the allegations are that he was using that fund to pay off politicians on both sides of the aisle and use that fund for his own gain, because that fund has never been audited. If he's not worried about what I'm doing, why send these thugs to my house? Why not just hand over the asset forfeiture fund documents so I can have them audited by a forensic accountant, and we could just, we can move on. But he has something to hide, millions of dollars in asset forfeiture funds that have never been audited, because he thinks he's untouchable. And when I got a hold of this story, he realized that I wasn't going to stop. So now he's trying to silence me. A police department sending over 15 officers across county lines to look for a journalist for a criminal trespass warrant, ladies and gentlemen. Does that make any sense to you? It doesn't make any sense to me. This is despicable behavior. Law enforcement across the country that I've talked to. And what the real question is, why isn't Nassau County executive, the police commissioner serves at the behest of the Nassau County executive, who is Bruce Blakeman. The public contact information to peacefully petition your grievances to your government is in the description below. But Bruce Blakeman, why isn't he doing anything about this? Why isn't he controlling Ryder and stopping him from doing this? This is tyranny. This is corruption. This is for asking questions. And everybody's, I asked questions about his affair with the alleged affair with Laura Curran, the ex county administrator. She was the county administrator before Bruce Blakeman. The reason why that affair, ladies and gentlemen, is important to this story is because if you're having an affair, which is alleged through multiple sources, again, if you're having an affair with the county executive, who's your boss, who appointed you, isn't that a conflict of interest? I would think so, right? It's a conflict of interest. That's why these questions need to be asked. I really don't care what goes on in his marriage. I don't care what he does on his free time. But if it's affecting how he became police commissioner and skipped from detective sergeant all the way up to the police commissioner, I'm going to Google right now on the spot, Nassau County police ranks. I'm going to put this all in a video so you could see, because this man has been accused of heinous things. He's been arrested for beating up people. And how is he? Bruce Blakeman, you kept him on as the police commissioner. How? For what? It just doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to pull up right here. I got it right here. The rank structure. Let's take a look at this. So this is the rank structure of let me make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. This is the rank structure, of the Nassau County Police Department. Patrick Ryder was a detective sergeant. That's a field supervisor, as you could see here. The lowest of the low. He went, this is true corruption, ladies and gentlemen. He went from detective sergeant all the way up to deputy police commissioner, passing, let's read them off: detective lieutenant, detective captain, deputy inspector, inspector, deputy chief, assistant chief, chief of division, chief of department. He was never any of those things. He went up to deputy commissioner. And do you know who made him the deputy commissioner and who made him active commissioner? Ed Mangano. Listen closely, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Mangano, the former Nassau County executive. Do you know where Ed Mangano is right now? Ed Mangano is currently serving a 12-year prison sentence for corruption charges. Yeah. So the corrupt politician appointed this man to be the commissioner of the police department. Now, you would ask yourself, why would he do that? Why would he bring him all the way from detective sergeant all the way to the police commissioner? Why would he do that? Wouldn't you think any journalists out there would ask that question? How did this happen? How did that just jump happen? What did he, how did he prove himself? Oh, but if you look into it, and again, I'll be making a video about this. So I'm just going over the detail. I'm just going over it briefly here. When you look into it, like a good journalist would do, when he was detective sergeant of asset forfeiture, he investigated. There were some allegations against Ed Mangano regarding sexting and giving away non-bid contracts to a woman that he was allegedly sexting. So, guess who was in charge of that investigation, ladies and gentlemen? Detective Sergeant Patrick Ryder. And do you know what the result of that investigation was, ladies and gentlemen? It was a hoax, according to Detective Sergeant Ryder. It was a hoax. There was no truth to it whatsoever. They were being framed and set up. And just sometime after that, the man he investigated, why is an asset forfeiture sergeant investigating the county executive? I don't know. But it seems oddly coincidental that this detective sergeant went and skipped all of these ranks right after investigating the corrupt Nassau County executive, Ed Mangano, to become the deputy commissioner and eventually the commissioner by Laura Curran, who, again, there's allegations of an affair there. These are serious questions that I'm asking, and this is why my life is in danger. This is why my freedom is at stake, because he doesn't want these things coming out. He doesn't want me having a forensic accountant go over the asset forfeiture fund, because I wouldn't want to go to federal prison either, just like my former boss. So we have to stop this journalist at all costs. But if Bruce Blakeman, the current county executive, it has nothing to do with this, why isn't he stopping Patrick Ryder? Why is he stopping the commissioner? This is serious, ladies and gentlemen. Why isn't he could fire him tomorrow. He could force him to resign. He could do anything, but he's letting him go into different districts, different counties, and play, he's sending his goons over here to try and scare me, scare my family, arrest me on a low-level warrant that no law enforcement officer I talk to. And if you're in law enforcement and you think that you send plainclothes detectives across county lines to go get a guy on a criminal trespass in the third degree, if you think that's normal, then I don't know what to tell you at that point. That's not normal. Not normal whatsoever. Not normal to have no lights and sirens when trying to apprehend, no badge, and you have a baklava on. That's not normal behavior. Mix that with all the allegations and all the allegations that multiple sources are telling me, that becomes a really bad thing. So that's where we are now. He's currently searching for me. I'm going to get into the supporting depositions right now, but I wanted to read to you what one of my sources has told me regarding Patrick Ryder here. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to tell you what he's apparently allegedly doing right now. So this source tells me, stay away from your house until October 9th. Ryder has lost his mind. This is coming from a source, a reliable source who has given me good information. He has ordered detectives from the Major Case Squad, Asset Forfeiture and Intelligence Bureau, 3rd Precinct Detective Squad, and 1st Precinct Detective Squad to dig up dirt on me. Whatever dirt you want to find, you can go ahead. Everything I've ever done is public record. And he still has plainclothes officers looking to grab you before you turn yourself in. The Nassau County Asset Forfeiture and Intelligence Bureau even contacted the NYPD Intelligence Bureau to assist them in finding intelligence about you because the Nassau County Police Department doesn't have access to that level of information that the NYPD has. Thankfully, as of right now, the NYPD Intelligence Bureau detectives have refused to assist the Nassau County detectives. So, and apparently Patrick Ryder, wanted me arrested for stalking in the 4th degree, but apparently he can't get his wife to sign a supporting deposition. So this man, and he also wanted me arrested for unlawful surveillance, which is a Class E felony, ladies and gentlemen, but he couldn't do that either because it's not just surreptitiously recording, because you have to read a little bit lower in the statute, Commissioner Ryder. It's secretly recording someone in a sexual act, undressing, things of that nature. So it didn't apply to me. The criminal trespass statute doesn't apply to me, and I'm going to show all that to you in a second. Let's pull up the supporting deposition. So here we go. Let's get right into it. So that's basically what's going on here. I probably missed a couple things, but Thursday I'm going to put out a whole story about the commissioner from when he was in the NYPD. This man there's 2 detectives. I'm going to pull this up too. There are 2 detectives, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to make a whole video about each and every one of this. I am not done reporting on any of this, but there's detectives that are under investigation right now by the state attorney general's office. You know why they're under investigation? Let's look at it together. This is ridiculous. 2 Nassau County detectives, this is recent, 2 Nassau County detectives are being investigated for misconduct. 2 Nassau County police detectives are under investigation after a federal judge found they unconstitutionally strip searched a Cambria Heights man in public, then lied about it on the witness stand. 2 Nassau County detectives strip searched a man naked in public on the street and then lied about it on the witness stand in front of a federal judge. That is the people that work for Commissioner Patrick Ryder. Both the New York Attorney General and the Nassau County District Attorney, I have no faith in their investigation, are investigating detectives Robert D. Galgano and Daniel P. Kokanen. This is one of the first investigations conducted by the Attorney General's new Police Misconduct Office. There is a link to submit your complaint to the Police Misconduct Office of the Attorney General's office in the description of this video. If you would like to submit a complaint regarding everything you're hearing here, you're welcome to do so. If either investigations find the detectives broke the law, they can bring criminal charges against them. So they're facing criminal charges, right? The Nassau County Police Department, wait till the end, disputed the investigation claims without providing any support. Look at their quote. It's inaccurate, and I can't go any further into it. It's inaccurate that they lied under oath. The alleged misconduct is connected to an arrest in 2018. Galgano and Kokanen made a traffic stop, later testifying that they suspected the driver of hiding drugs. James Jenkins, who was a passenger in the vehicle, was told to undress and lay naked on the street while officers searched his private parts, according to court testimony. No drugs were ever found, according to records submitted in court during a civil lawsuit claiming false arrest and excessive force. In police reports and in court, Galgano and Kokanen said they searched Jenkins with his consent and for their own safety. There you go. Officer safety, ladies and gentlemen. Of course. The judge ruled, this is a federal judge, the judge ruled these statements, quote, farcical, and took the exceptionally rare step of fining the detectives personally for a total of $30,000. They were fined $15,000 each, stripped away their qualified immunity, and the judge fined them himself. This judge is a hero and a patriot. He said, you know what? I'm not believing you. You're lying to me. You're bold-faced lying to me, and I'm going to fine you $15,000 each. An attorney for Jenkins said the Attorney General's Law Enforcement Misconduct Division contacted them and asked for various records. They were examining both the incident of the strip search and the trial, during which officers who were involved in the strip search testified falsely. So what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when 2 detectives of a law enforcement agency are found to be lying? What do you think happens? They perjure themselves to a federal judge, and they very clearly, unconstitutionally searched a man and his privates for non-existent drugs, what do you think would happen to two detectives? What do you think? Because who's in charge of the Nassau County Police Department again, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, yes, Patrick Ryder. So what do you think Patrick Ryder did to these two detectives? Oh, he didn't do anything. They are still detectives. Lying, corrupt, constitutional rights violations everywhere, and they're still detectives till this day. They could have been looking for me. They could have been the two detectives looking for me across county lines. I'm sure they would do a lot of things for their boss, Patrick Ryder, their mob boss, because he's protecting them. In 2022, Galgano earned $171,000 and Kokanen earned $163,000. Both were promoted to detectives after Jenkins' strip search and shortly before the trial. Were they demoted? No. Galgano and Kokanen were officers in the New York City Police Department, no shocker there, before joining Nassau Police. Galgano had 10 unsubstantiated misconduct complaints stemming from 2 incidents. He resigned before the second incident can be investigated. So again, this is all very important, ladies and gentlemen. Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder hired this man after he resigned from the NYPD because he was about to be found out for the investigation of misconduct, and then promoted him to detective after he violated a man's constitutional rights and shortly before he perjured himself. In October, the Gothamist reported that Nassau police discovered 0 founded civilian complaints for false arrest and excessive force over the last 6 years. Really, Police Commissioner Ryder, there's been no excessive force or unlawful arrest in 6 years in your department? Interesting. What about Galgano and Kokanen, where the federal judge said that they were lying and fined them for it? Even though the county settled dozens of lawsuits that involved allegations of those offenses, the disconnect alarmed police experts and police reform advocates. It's incredible here. It's incredible. Nassau County Police Department has long shielded itself from scrutiny, going so far as to block news organizations. This sound familiar, ladies and gentlemen? Block news organizations, civil rights groups, and even county judges and prosecutors from obtaining disciplinary records. Of the 8 investigation referrals the Attorney General's Police Misconduct Office has closed so far, Nassau was the subject of 5 of them. Out of the 8 of police misconduct, Nassau County Police Department were subject of 5 of the investigations. 5 of 8, ladies and gentlemen. Police reform advocates say they are glad the Attorney General is taking a proactive role in investigating internal accountability and discipline process in Nassau. I am too. The Nassau County Police Department has a pattern and culture of fostering secrecy, which is actually on full display in this case, said Susan Gother, director of Nassau's NCLU chapter. False testimony and perjury by police undermines the need to hold law enforcement accountable, and it raises the likelihood that innocent people end up in jail. Sound familiar? This is not just me saying, oh, these people are bad and they're out to get me and they're corrupt and they're tyrants. This is evidence. And there's so much more. Stay tuned to the channel because there's so much more. I'm going to be making videos where I show body camera footage of them assaulting people, and yet they never get found of any excessive force or there's no discipline in. What's the point of even having IAB? He should just dismantle it at this point, right? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. All right. I know I've been talking for a while now. I'm going to get right into the really quickly. I'll make another video with this too. I'm going to get right into the I'm going to zoom in here. Hopefully you guys could see. So this is the information page of District Court of County of Nassau, First District, people of the state of New York. That always really upsets me. It's not the people, it's the government that are against me. Sean Paul Reyes, arrest date 8/29. The offense is criminal trespass in the 3rd degree, enclosed property. A person is guilty of criminal trespass in the 3rd degree. Now listen to this, and you tell me if it applies, because they're district attorneys who all have law degrees and police officers that know nothing about the law, who all say that this applies, including a judge says that there's probable cause. So count 1, a person is guilty of criminal trespass in the 3rd degree when he knowingly enters or remains unlawfully in a building or upon real property, which is fenced or otherwise enclosed in a manner designed to exclude intruders, which is fenced or otherwise enclosed in a manner designed to exclude intruders. Right here. So is the Department of Social Services public lobby designed in a manner to exclude intruders? I'm pretty sure it's designed in a manner to invite people in because it's a public building, not to exclude intruders. So this charge doesn't even apply. And these are the two charges I'm charged with this twice. They could have added it to the original indictment, but they didn't. They wanted a whole new warrant so they can come out and get me and keep me over the weekend in jail and get me to violate the stay away order protection. My attorney called the Nassau County District Attorney's office and said, "Hey, he's going to turn himself in. We want in writing that you're not going to prosecute the stay away order." And you know what they said? No, we're not going to give it to you in writing. They said that they wouldn't, but they won't give it to us in writing. You can't make this stuff up. So I'm going to go through. I might just post this so you guys can read it yourself. It's really long. I'm not going to read the entire thing. But again, if we go into the criminal, there's the supporting depositions. This video, was a little longer than I expected it to be, but I'm going to upload this to a Google Drive so you can read it yourself. It's basically saying that I cannot record in the public lobby due to safety concerns and due to the sensitive nature of services provided are not permitted, that I was told I couldn't record. I was shown a memorandum that I didn't. It was a 2-page memorandum from what I remember, and I didn't even have the chance to read it. So how do I have noticed that? Again, this is all legal. Obviously, we know constitutionally I have a First Amendment right to film in public and to gather freedom of press, to gather new content, and to ask questions of my government. But just a legal technicality is they're saying that this paper, it was the notice that I was served with that I was trespassing. How do I read a 2-page paper in the matter of 60 seconds, or less than that, before an officer arrests me? Just doesn't make any sense. My attorney is having a field day with all of this. He's a very Jacob Uriel. Shout out to him. He's doing a great job. It's just hard when you're up against serious corruption. And apparently, just as another note, the building is managed by a company called Colliers International. So that is the owner of the building. They lease a space to the Department of Social Services. So he wrote a statement here that says that I'm not allowed there. I can't record because of the sensitivity. What does this building manager have to do with the government office? How does he have any authority over the government office? He doesn't. But they also have one here from Nancy, who is the commissioner of the Department of Social Services. She was in my video. Very nasty woman. Wouldn't answer any questions. And this, I'm going to go over that again. I will upload this to a Google Drive so you can all see it because it's very important you read all of it. But I'll read this one. I am David Carl. David Carl is the department. It says it here. I am David Carl. I have read and understand the above notice. I am the bureau chief for the Nassau County Police Department of Social Services, Legal Bureau. I am a person in authority relating to the premises located at Uniondale, New York. Whereas the building described above is a facility of the County of Nassau Department of Social Services. Whereas it is the policy of the aforementioned agency to prohibit members of the public from filming in the above referenced premises so as to protect the sensitive, confidential, personal information and identity of individuals at the facility to obtain necessary benefits and services. When I wasn't overtly recording inside of the Department of Social Services, no one had an issue and there was no confidential information. That just shows you that this is all BS and has nothing to do with protecting people's privacy. People inside that building were grateful for me and they appreciated what I did. The only people who had a problem was the government officials, public servants that are accountable to us, we the people. Whereas the premises has a sign posted inside the facility on a pillar near the magnetometer that reads security notice, no photos or videos allowed. They bought that sign off of Amazon. On the 29th day of August, 2023, at about 2:24 p.m., the above referenced facility, I personally observed an individual who is known to me as Jean-Paul Reyes using a Samsung Galaxy cell phone to record upon the premises in violation of the above described policy. I observed Jean-Paul Reyes enter the facility and using the above referenced device to record inside the facility. I provided Jean-Paul Reyes with a notice providing that in accordance with the longstanding department policy, evidenced by conspicuously posted signage, anyone videotaping, taking photographs, or recording in department or social services lobby during business hours will be directed to leave the premises immediately. If an individual directed to leave returns or refuses to leave the building, such continued presence will be deemed unlawful and treated by the members of the Nassau County Police Department. A copy of the notice is annexed herein. So the notice, we never got the notice, and it's a 2-page notice. I had no chance to read it to even understand what it meant or anything. I personally, because this is mens rea, ladies and gentlemen, is an important legal term. I had to know that I wasn't licensed or privileged. I know that I am licensed or privileged. Handing me a paper without giving me a chance to read it that has apparently it had case law or whatever on it. I didn't have a chance to read it. I know that my constitutional rights don't end in a building that I help, that we the people help pay for. But again, this is all wrong. It's not an enclosed building designed to exclude intruders. None of this thing applies. It's just outright tyranny. I personally informed Sean Paul Reyes that he was not allowed to video record in the facility. Sean Paul Reyes continued to record in violation of the prohibition and did not leave the facility. I am requesting that Sean Paul Reyes be placed under arrest for trespassing. I have asked PO Officer Keller. Now listen to this. This is the most important part. This is an attorney, the bureau chief for the legal division of the Department of Social Services. And if you read right here, I have asked Police Officer Kenneth J. Keller to write this statement for me. I have read it, and it is a true and accurate statement. I, an attorney, a bureau chief of a legal department, had a police officer write my statement for me, and I read it and made sure that it was all accurate. Really? Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There's so much more. Thursday morning, 10 a.m., I'm going to be coming out with a video that really exposes Patrick Ryder. Right now, I had a pre-planned vacation just to get you up to speed to where I am right now. I am on vacation with my family. I won't be back until October 10th. I won't be back till right before my court date, which is in Nassau County, which is October 10th. It was a pre-planned vacation with my family, and I already had told the court about it. I had informed the court during my arraignment before a warrant for my arrest was granted. Before they issued a warrant for my arrest, I already had told the court on the record, I'll be getting those transcripts and making a video with the transcripts for my arraignment, that I was going on vacation and my attorney is out of the country currently. So this is not something that, I made up after the fact because there was a warrant. I'm not running from a warrant. I had a pre-planned family vacation out of the state. So I'm with my family out of the state. I will turn myself in. I'm going to try. I want to turn myself into the district attorney's office. I don't want to be anywhere near Nassau Police Department because for the reasons that we just talked about in the last 37 minutes. Corrupt, tyrant Police Commissioner Ryder, who allows his department to break the law with impunity with no consequences. Why would and I'm exposing him for all the tyranny and corruption over the last 30 years, why would I turn myself into that maniac? My life could be in danger. I truly believe that. So I will turn myself into the district attorney. I also want to set up a peaceful protest, so stay tuned to the channel for that. But I definitely want to turn myself in. I have no problem. This is the 8th time I've been arrested, 9th time now, and I've never once missed a court date. I have never been criminally convicted of any of these charges while auditing. So I have nothing to run from. The law is on my side. The Constitution is on my side. The only thing that I don't want to be near is a corrupt police department who want to hurt me and silence me. So I hope the district attorney is watching this and we can come to some sort of resolution where after my vacation is over, I will turn myself in peacefully to their office, be processed. If you want to put a bond, I'll bond out. It doesn't matter. I need to continue to work on my story. I need to continue to report to all of you. All the public contact information is in the description below if you'd like to peacefully redress your grievances to your government for redress. As always, stay safe. God bless. I'll see you in the next video. Long Island Audit. Peace.